to turn the other cheek, and you got to forgive me for owning you.
Yeah, and you know,
Yo,
but that's how they got a lot of people.
Words,
that's how they got a lot of people to convert. They got a lot of people to convert to Christianity like that because a lot of the kings, that's what they were hitting with. Like I was saying, King Anasa of Ghana was actually reported when the Portuguese king and they was coming over there and they was trading guns. They had been trading in Ghana for all those years. But when they came over there, one time, King Anasa actually told them, listen, our friendship would do much more better if we stay impersonal and if we keep this the way we've been keeping this. But now y'all want to come over here and y'all want to set up a fort on my land, and I don't feel like this is not going to be a good thing. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a good thing. You know, like, we need to keep
set up an embassy where you at.
So they hit him with the Bible. You know what I mean? But he was not really going for it because he was like, no, you know, me and my people, we have our own belief. Blase, blase. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of kings were recorded as saying that. You know what I'm saying? When the Portuguese and all of them tried to give them Christianity, they were reported saying no. But a lot of the ways that they would catch a lot of them too was by saying, well, if you want to continue doing business with us, we're going to need you to convert to Christianity. So they started sending over there missionaries. And then they started having Bible study and all this shit. And you know,
before you could conquer people, what they always did was bring that book and throw that book, because it was really, most of them were illiterate anyway.
Oh yeah, well think about
So the first thing that they could teach them and they say, well, it's my God-given right for me to do this. And you ain't that, you gotta turn the other cheek.
Right, and then
you gotta forgive me for fucking
right,
you up.
because it says it in the Bible. Well, how about this? I'm gonna tell you something else too. Like, I was online one day and I was just looking for some pictures, you know, because I use a lot of pictures in a lot of my videos that I do, you know, and things like that, because I know the visual thing is good for people. And I was just looking for something and I came across this one picture and it said religious instructions for the Negro. And it had the guy's name at the bottom. And I was like, yo, that's a book, because the person had a caption under it saying, yo, this fucking book is crazy. Like, this is how they made us be Christians. So I went on Amazon and looked up the book. I said, yo, this is a real book? Like, I gotta look this shit up. Because, you know, I got mad books. This is what I do. And I find out about historical books. So I go and I look it up. And there's actually a book. Religious instructions for the Negro, the same way as the Willie Lynch letters, how the making of a slave, how Willie Lynch came over to Jamestown, Virginia, and taught the planters associations on how to train their slaves. The same thing with this book, how they taught planters associations, slave owners, how to convert their slaves. And so I actually read some of the passages on one of the videos I did on my channel. And so I'm reading this stuff. I'm like, look at this. They actually had instructions. You know, shit like, you know, take care of them, bring them to salvation, but don't abuse them. You know, things like that. Know that they don't belong to you, that they belong to God. The same as you do, in the same way as you love yourself, love them the same. You know, your job is to bring them to salvation. I'm like, well, shit, well, when the fuck did it change? Because when the slave trade got on and popping, really ain't took effect. All that shit went out the window about love them the same way you love theyself, because they sure was not loving us like that. And they was not treating us decent like we all belong to the same God.
No. The biggest ports on the East Coast, Boston, Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, South Carolina. With South Carolina, North Carolina meet, there's an island, Jones Island, some kind of island out there that they had a fort. But they brought slaves in there. They didn't have a place in Florida, but they had a place in Georgia. Those East Coast ports, every last one of them had something to do with the slave trade. Every last
shit, right here where we are in Delaware. Delaware was very known for that too. Right here we are. We on Cracker Plantation.
Yeah,
they still very racist out here.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. You know, Jamestown, Virginia was actually the first place where they had the first slave dock.
Oh, okay.
It was in Jamestown, Virginia. That's when they brought the first group of, I think it was a group of 12 or 21, either one, 12 or 21. They brought a group of, but at the time we was indigent servants. Like that means you couldn't own me for life.
Right.
You only 6-7 years you rented me out, but then after that time was up, you let me go. See, this is all before slavery got crazy.
Yeah, because where they got the idea of slavery from, they use the indentured servant on the Indian. I mean,
right.
on the Native American.
Right.
I can't say Indian because you're right. The natives that were here.
That were here. And that's the thing too.
Now,
they was here with us. It was the natives and us were here together.
Right, but the beautiful thing, why it didn't work for the natives, because you could beat a native to death. He ain't gonna work for nothing. You ain't gonna get him to do. So okay, we can't make him like that. But us, they assume we're a bit weaker. We're powerfully strong, but we are weaker. And it worked on us. It didn't work on them. That's how come they had to move us.
Think about it, because you're not taking no Native Americans and family member. They coming after your ass.
The land that they had, because the Native Americans owned slaves too.
Oh yeah, they did.
Okay.
Yes, they did. They used to hunt slaves too.
Right. They would, because those, now one thing we got to do, have to give credit for, is that our two cultures are very close to each other in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, we are.
So, but the indentured servant really fell in the line with them, but then eventually it got switched over to being slave. But once they found out that they couldn't really make the native Indians or Native Americans into indentured servants forever, they used it on us, but they couldn't use it on them. That's when you see the migration of Indians coming from the east out west.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we can, man, you could beat a Native American to death. He ain't picking no cotton for you for 30 some odd years of his life. He not doing it. Especially when.
And you can't take their family, just like I said, they coming after you.
Yeah, they actually.
They coming.
Them motherfuckers come out. And another thing we can't do, we can't get them alcohol.
No fucking no.
That's the one race that you cannot give. To this very day, you cannot give them alcohol. They are out of control.
What? It's
when
still
they
like
get
that
to
to this day.
It's still like that to this day. That's how
Fucking
come on
Americans.
reservations you can't sell alcohol. They don't sell alcohol on none of those Indian at all. And it's illegal for them to leave the reservation to go buy it.
And you know what? You know what's so funny too,
what?
though? What's so funny too, bro, is that, you know, like one time I was having a talk like this, like just like me and you right now, with a friend of mine, and she was like, well, you know, because she's actually Native American, like grew up on the reservation, true Native American. And she said, well, yeah, you know, because you're not just going to come take our people. Like, we're going to come after you. We're coming for ours, our family members, and they knew that. So many things they knew about the Native American that they couldn't just get away with.
Right.
Now, when it comes to us, here comes the question: how come our people didn't come for us?
Let me tell you why. Because we was a whole ocean away.
But our people knew the law. They knew maritime law. They was travelers of the sea.
I feel you on that.
Years before the Portuguese or any of them.
But see, you gotta remember something. The reason
And they
that
had
it worked
already
on
been
us,
to the New World.
right? They never.
There's history of that.
But what I'm trying to explain is the reason that it didn't work on us. Well, why it worked on us and it didn't work on them. What water are they gonna snatch us from and take us to, and make them slaves into? See, the Native American was already here. Where you gonna take them? There ain't no water to take them at. And by the time even if you know maritime law, by the time you try to get here, we're gonna take them too. Because half of you gonna die on the voyage trying to get here. Half you gonna die then, and that's if none of the pirate ships catch y'all fucking asses. Again, you got a whole big ass body of water
Atlantic Ocean, the Atlantic
between
Coast.
two continents, and the Native American is already here. What body of water you gonna take him and then tell him he better do that? Where are you gonna do that at? You can't. You can't do that. So yeah, and yes, they're gonna come and get you because that's their land. And who knows if America's better than the Native American? He know it better than they do. So yeah, I'd be afraid of that too. Because first of all, they tried to enslave them. First they tried that indentured servant shit. Then they tried to poison them off by giving them disease blankets and giving them that cholera shit that they never made. The fucking common cold. Don't some bitches ain't had no fucking colds. You know about that shit?
Well, what was it?
The smallpox and
smallpox that came over here with the Europeans.
Yeah, smallpox, measles, all them nasty ass European diseases.
Yes, now that is true. They did do that. They did that. Well, they did that in Australia too with the Aboriginal people.
Yeah, but once they knew that they couldn't enslave them and that they would fight back, the best way to do it is let's make peace. Let's not fight no more. Let's make peace and give them shit.
And you know they paid some Indians to help them catch runaway slaves. I think it was like $5, $20
I did not say that they weren't plausible, but that's what they did. The first thing was they tried to enslave them and fought them. Then okay, let's do an indentured servant thing. No, okay, then let's not fight anymore. Let's be friends. We'll come to a common ground. But in the shit that they trading them is disease infested, and they kill half of them off. They done kill half them motherfuckers off and shit. And then now the ones that are left, yeah, you may not be an indentured servant or nothing like that, but I'll tell you what, since there ain't that many of you motherfuckers left, I'm gonna put you on this reservation, and you only be in this reservation. You leave outside of this reservation or do anything outside of this reservation, you're gonna get killed. You can't even hunt out. You can't hunt outside of it. We're gonna give you what you need to have. The very first welfare system was done to the Native Americans, but that's how it started. And they did it to. You're right. They did it to the Australians, and they did it to the people in Central and South America
brought disease with them wherever they went.
Yeah.
I mean, the Pilgrims did that too when they came over here to Massachusetts. Ah, man, not right now.
But that's what they do. And whoever's left, and then after that, they try the book at first, then after all of that other stuff that they do, then they come back again with the book. And
the Bible, Christianity.
Yeah, then one, it ain't that many of you. Two, you're going to conform because now it's way more us than you. And the only way you really going to get along is if you do this. Because them motherfuckers ain't know about no damn cold. Or the flu? They ain't never know about none of that shit.
About that. They didn't know shit about that.
They didn't know about none of that shit. All that shit come from the Europeans.
Come from the Europeans, man. You know what the plague or whatever is what killed half of Europe during the 15th, the 14th, and 16th century.
Look, when you don't wash your ass and you take your trash and your piss and you only throw it out in the window and you leave it in a motherfucking pile along with the rest of your garbage and trash, them rats and any infestation is going to get in the shit, and you're breathing in the shit.
Breathing in that shit, feces and all that shit.
And then the rats come along and then they bite you or they living in your house, and the ticks and fleas carried from them onto your ass. What the fuck you think gonna happen?
Nasty motherfucker.
And you don't wash your ass.
Yo, I'm recording this, man. I hope you don't mind.
I don't care. But what I'm saying, you don't wash your ass either.
This is real talk, yo.
So you know, like I said, man, everybody. Oh no.
Nah, that's true though. That's just nasty. Like, and then they try to say that we was the ones that was nasty. We were the ones that were the savages. We needed them to come save us.
The very first welfare system was done on the Native Americans. Where it come from? Because the country took care of them and said, okay, we're gonna put you on this reservation, and you can hunt, but you can't hunt beyond this area. If you hunt beyond this area, we're gonna find out who did it. And matter of fact, we're gonna put somebody in there that's with us to run y'all, and they're gonna be able to judge and find out who did what stealing.
And that's really what they did?
Yeah.
That's how they put them on reservations?
Hell yeah. The reservation, look, and not only that, the reservation police, got no jurisdiction outside the reservation. They're not allowed to lock up. No. If I start a fire on the reservation, if I go on a reservation and start a fire or start some shit, they can't even bring me up on charges. They can lock you up, but what they do is that they go to the whatever state or wherever county that they're at, they gotta leave from their reservation and request to press charges against you.
Wow.
And that's on the Indian reservation. You go to anybody.
And you know too, that's what happened too with the Louisiana Purchase. You know about the Louisiana Purchase, right? When they first came over here, you know them natives had all that land and they were just living on that land freely. Until that Louisiana Purchase shit, and they put them in separate little, areas and gave them their own little spotlight.
They let a motherfucker think that a bag of lima beans was worth. They mixed up some green beans. I think it's green beans and lima beans, and mixed in some stones and handed it to a motherfucker to sell the goddamn state of where you come from.
What? Wait a minute, hold on.
New York was bought with a bag of motherfucking beans and rocks that we thought was valuable, that wasn't shit. Not we, excuse me.
I know what you mean.
That the European, the Native Americans thought were valuable.
Are you serious?
And gave it to, and the white man traded it with him for a bag of beans and some fucking rocks.
Yo, y'all hear this shit, man? This is my big brother. He talking some real stuff.
You can look at the fuck up. It's a part of natural history. You want to keep history away from the masses? Put it in a book.
Nah, I mean, the history. That's my area of study. But that part, what you telling right now, I didn't know that.
New York was bought with a bag of beans and some rocks that wasn't worth a damn dollar bill to the white man, and they sold them New York, Manhattan to be exact, the island of Manhattan. And then they traded with them some more and gave them the disease shit. And then the white man is the disease. Wherever they go at, they spread their disease.
Yeah, they do.
And once cause see, they're immune to the smallpox and the chicken pox. You don't hear about no white man dying for no shit like that. Cause it's built in their immune system.
Yeah.
So therefore, they can sneeze or have a smallpox in their body and come around you and make you sick because your body ain't used to having it.
Right.
And they kill you.
Well, that's like what I was saying. That's what happened with the Aboriginal people. When them British went over there to Tasmania, to the island of Tasmania, and they encountered the Aboriginal people, the Tasmanian people. And they took them to this fucking island. What's the name of this fucking island? They took them to this island because they said that they was going to try to preserve them because they had damn near killed all of them. This is like back in 1830. When the British came over to the British settlers came over there to this part of Tasmania. And the British settlers came over there, and the Aboriginal people, they was already there. They people have been on that land for years, thousands and hundreds of centuries of years.
Yeah.
And so when they came over there and the British settlers came over there and they wanted to settle, they just started killing these fucking Aboriginal people. You know what I mean? Like killing them. Like killing from 15,000 of them down to 300 of them.
Yep.
Until the governor at that time got together and got with this dude who was a Christian and a preacher, and they took them to this island. I can't remember the name of the island, but I do speak about it in another one of my videos right now. I can't remember it. Took them to this island where they would be safe, but little by little they started dying because of the disease. They started catching all these fucking disease from the European people.
Oh, let me tell you some other history too. How diabolical the European is. Opium. You know what opium is?
Yes,
right?
of course.
Okay. The British beat the Chinese into submission for not allowing them or making them smoke opium anymore.
The British beat the Chinese into submission for not allowing.
Look, in the very beginning, they had India. not the very beginning, but somehow the European got his hand in India.
Mm-hmm.
When he got his hand in India, he found out about the drugs that they used to use. A part of their religion is to do them drugs. They found out that they can mass produce it, and then found out that they can found out that the Chinese can make it even more powerful. And what they did was that they started getting the guys high off them drugs, which is opium.
Right.
And smoking it because he had to lay down. China passed a law that outlawed opium to be imported from Europe or by any European company for them to sell it in that. They started that war over drugs. And when the Chinese said we ain't taking no more opium and blah, 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 the Europeans came and beat the Chinese into submission.
Wow.
To make them keep on using that opium.
Damn.
True story.
I know.
You know what they hide it behind? They hide it behind tea. It's hidden behind tea. But the real reason why that the Chinese-European war actually started, how the Europeans got a real foothold into China for a long time, it was because of opium, because it was mass-produced and then magnified. They had people that can magnify it, make it more powerful, and they were selling it to the Chinese because it was legal for them to have it. And then the Chinese government was like, yo, we got too many people on this shit. It was a drug epidemic in China. It was. And when the government of China said, we no longer taking no more the import of that drug because they seen what it did to all of their people. That's the Chinese and Latinos, like Latino speaking people are the biggest populations on the planet.
Oh yeah. There's more people over there than there is here.
Exactly. So, but when the Chinese, the Asians, which was the Chinese and the Japanese, or not Japanese, but in Chinese, they were so highly addicted to it, it was an epidemic. But it was legal. Then the China government made it illegal for them to sell and kicked the opium guys that would sell the stuff, because it was legal.
Which is the Europeans?
Because they were trading the opium for the fucking tea. And when they refused to accept opium as payment and trade for the fucking tea, because they seen what they did to their people, and they kicked them motherfuckers out, they came back with ships and ran in there and took over beat the emperor into submission until he allowed the trade to keep on going. And that shit went on until everybody started being not ignorant anymore. You know how when, news start to travel, and that's going to make the Europeans and let them see themselves in a bad light. Them tea companies, because the tea companies was the ones that brought in a lot of that loot. Once they found it out, that's when they changed it over, talking about they refused some kind of dispute over tea from China to go to European, but it really was because they stopped them from, they stopped taking in opium as trade for their tea, and made opium sales illegal, because out of opium you get morphine, you get heroin.
Right.
You get those other powerful drugs. You get that shit from there, and they learned that shit from the poppies in India and in the Middle East, because them drugs have always been there, always. When the United States went to Vietnam, that's when they discovered that, that's when everybody started remembering, yo, wait a minute, I remember a long time ago. Because you can grow that shit there too.
Yeah.
You can mass produce that shit right there in that region, because technically China owned Vietnam, the Philippines, they owned all that shit down there. And the Japanese had some shit too, but they weren't that big as the Chinese. That's how the Japanese was able to go over there and kick that little ass island How the fuck you gonna beat a big ass continent of motherfuckers? Cause half of them were on drugs. Half of them was on that opium shit.
Yeah.
But it got reiterated. It got brought back in World War One. Really, World War Two is when it got back that you can about the story on why, because that's when the history came back about how did this plant, because this plant is not naturally grown there.
Right.
When you find that shit in India and in the Middle East. That's where you find the poppy plant.
Poppy seed.
It's not originally grown there. It was brought there by the Europeans. Like I said,
I believe that. I believe that.
And then once they found out that it was actually being manufactured and stuff like that, so when the Vietnam vets went over there and found out they can get heroin way cheaper. They can get that shit for 50 cents or $1. You know, and get bags of that shit. You know they pay them. They get bags of that shit and then they come back here with a real high addiction rate. Most of the motherfuckers came back smuggling the drugs back, was blew up the heroin trade as it is today. Because at first the Italians and the Corsican motherfuckers had that shit on lock. That's the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
The Middle Eastern, France, Italy, they were in trade with the motherfuckers in India and in the Middle East to refine that shit and then send it over here, because technically the shit ain't worth a lot to them over there because it's so much of it. It's so much of it in certain places. It's legal for you to do drugs. It's legal.
Yeah.
But yeah, not the United States, the European beat China into submission to allow them to continue their drug trade. For real. And that's in the history books.
Yeah.
I was like,
I don't know a lot about that, but I know something about
well, a lot of what we do today is the same old shit, but we just it's a little bit later in modern time for us, and it's more easily accessed for us to get it, you know, than ever before. But before, why a bag of heroin